What's up, everybody? Hopefully you guys are doing well wherever it is that you guys are in this world. Quick announcement, Goku Gain's new flavor is now in stock. It is called Sex on the Beach. If you've never heard of this flavor, it's a delicious combination of orange and cranberry. Very, very delicious, refreshing drink. Highly recommended. Link to that is in the description below. Also, we restocked a number of sizes in our scoop tees. They are available in burgundy, black, white, and gray. Link to that as well is in the description below. I am wearing the burgundy scoop right now. You can't tell that it's a scoop because the video's kind of cut off. But anyways, let's get right into today's video. So a couple of days ago, the story surfaced that Travis Maloof participated in an eating challenge at a place called Voodoo Donuts. I actually filmed there about a year ago when I was in Portland. They actually have locations in Portland. That's where they started off from. And then they have locations in Texas and I believe a few other places. But they have this eating challenge where they have a Texas-sized donut. It is a massive, massive donut. And it is about 7 times bigger than the regular donut. And the challenge is to eat the donut in 80 seconds or less. There's a couple issues with this challenge. And it's a challenge. I mean, it's a challenge. It's not supposed to be easy, you know? It's not supposed to be like every person can actually complete this challenge that actually does it. One of the big things that comes to mind right away is the fact that you only get a very, very small cup of water for a donut that's about this big. I actually did a challenge with these donuts, but I actually changed around the actual challenge by actually consuming 3 of these donuts, and they weren't fresh whatsoever when I was doing the challenge, so it took a little bit longer, but I did the challenge nonetheless. If you want to check that out, link in the description below. But so this guy got a little cup of water, and what happens when you only have a small amount of fluid for a large amount of starch? Things get pretty dry, or can get very, very dry. I think it all depends on the freshness of the item. But this is, you know, this is a big issue when it comes to any kind of eating challenges, competitive eating, is when you don't have enough fluid for any kind of challenge, for any consumption, things can get pretty dicey. Things can get pretty dicey and pretty dry and pretty scary. So this guy did this challenge at about 1:30 in the morning. He's done eating challenges before, and you know, he went into it thinking that he's gonna crush it, and he got food lodged in his throat. And unfortunately, you know, paramedics arrived on site a little bit too late and couldn't revive him. He was, you know, he's pronounced dead. And this is scary. This is scary. I personally have had really scary moments like this. I remember one time I was doing live UK television. I'm pretty sure if you YouTube it, you can still see a clip of it. But I was doing, trying to break the Guinness World Record for fastest time to eat a 12-inch pizza. I was trying to break my own record at the time. And they served up the pizza, and it was not cooked at all, pretty much. It was almost raw dough when we were doing the challenge. And, you know, I tackled it as fast as I could, and I had enough fluid for sure with me, but I ate pretty much half the pizza right away, and it was, if you've ever seen raw dough, it's not really malleable when you actually, you know, put it into a ball. You can't really like get liquid past it. You can't really get any liquid to absorb into raw dough because it's raw right there. So it got lodged in my throat. I had a big piece that got lodged in my throat, and it was by far the scariest moment that I had in competitive eating history. I did a lot of eating contests, but that moment was, you know, I really couldn't breathe, and everyone else, the host actually thought I was like throwing up and things like that. I was like, why would I be throwing up after one slice of pizza? That makes no sense. But I physically pulled out this piece, and I ended up being totally fine. I ran my fingers down my throat and pulled out this piece. But I remember times during eating contests where this would happen. You know, you would feel like you're choking a little bit, and I hate to say it, I would continue to eat food and push past that choking. And that is dangerous. That is very, very scary and dangerous. There's been a lot of competitive eating deaths over the years. In fact, almost on the same day, maybe a day apart from this story that surfaced, there was a girl by the name of Caitlin Nelson, I believe. And she passed away during a pancake eating contest. She actually choked during a pancake eating contest at a university, 20 years old, and choked. They kind of like got her stable, but 2 days later in the hospital, she passed away. Not really sure all the complications. There's probably something got lodged here and then got lodged into, I don't know all the details, and they haven't released all the details. Another death related to competitive eating, and there is a huge list of competitive eating deaths, and most of them do revolve around choking, and it's scary. It is something that I never have recommended to people over the years. It's always people are always asking for tips. They were always asking me for tips. How do you eat this faster? How do you do this faster? You know, if you guys haven't realized, I kind of quit the whole competitive eating a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but you know, a few years ago, I just kind of completely stopped it. And there were many reasons for that. The big thing was that, you know, I was focusing on a lot of other businesses and a lot of other things that I was really interested in my life, and kind of like I've done the competitive eating thing, and then there was like time to do something else. I'm not one of those. I didn't see the longevity. I didn't see like that I could do it forever, and didn't make sense to do it forever. So as I stopped practicing, obviously my capacity changed and everything else changed. But that was just a decision that I made on my own, and I felt it was the right decision at that moment. Still do fun little challenges with friends, or I'll do Guinness World Records like I got in the back there. But nonetheless, it was just something that I just didn't want to do anymore. But it can be scary, and why it was like the only thing I ever recommended to other people was, if you want to increase your stomach capacity, drink more water. That's the only thing I ever suggested to anyone, and I never suggested anything else, never gave any other tips. And I've learned tips along the way to kind of speed up some processes, but I would never ever talk about them, because I wouldn't want stuff like this to happen to people, you know? There's 2 stories that surfaced back to back of competitive eating deaths that are just super scary. And it's something that I don't wish upon anyone to have. So this challenge, I believe that actually Voodoo actually got rid of it altogether right now, because 1, obviously it's really bad publicity, and 2, it's just, you know, some of these challenges are scary. There's a ton, hundreds and hundreds of eating challenges across the country. And I think that fluid should be the biggest thing that you are allowed to have. You should be able to have as much as you want, because you never know what's going to happen. And 2, if there is an eating challenge, someone on staff should be trained, you know, to do the Heimlich maneuver and you know, be able to do some kind of action if something were to happen. I guess most of the restaurants will have waivers, obviously, because they don't want to be liable if anything does happen to you. But if there is an eating challenge of some sorts, especially if it's, you know, one of those speed ones with a lot of starch, or there's no water, because that gets really difficult. Guinness World Records, for an example, does not allow water for a lot of challenges, and they become extremely difficult. For example, there's one with these cream crackers where you're trying to eat them as fast as you can, trying to eat as much of them as you possibly can, but you're not allowed to drink water, and that gets really dry. And if you swallow a big clump of that, I guarantee there's going to be somebody that is going to be choking from that. So it's scary. So if there's restaurant challenges out there and they are going to, you know, continue doing these eating challenges, I would implement the fact that there should be somebody trained on site. And I believe in a bunch of restaurants and franchises, there is that, you know, there is that mandatory rule that somebody is trained in CPR and everything, so that if something does happen, somebody can get to work on the individual before the paramedics arrive. But these stories are scary. This is why I've never, like I said, recommended eating contests. I never told people, go do this, go do this. It's not something that necessarily is for everyone. So, you know, I don't want to say leave it to the professionals, because even the professionals choke. A lot of the professionals have choked, and there's scary moments. Like I said, I've had my scary moments, and I remember doing that challenge over the UK on live television and choking. And I was messed up after that. I remember doing a challenge, doing an eating appearance in Winnipeg about a week or two later, and it was hot dogs, and I was just like, is this gonna get stuck in my throat? Is this gonna get stuck in my throat? And it was scary. I remember Mildiva watching this, and she was like totally scared that I was gonna choke once again. And I remember doing an eating challenge. I remember another choking incident, but I was pretty good. Eating challenge, and we filmed it. If you check out the Costco eating challenge that is on my channel, I also choked there. I choked, you know, a piece got lodged in my throat, but I managed to upchuck everything, and I was totally fine. But nonetheless, those are incidences that should tell you not to do this. It's just, I guess that's what this video is all about, is there's a story that tells you this can happen to you. So if you were to do it, take all the proper precautions. Make sure that if something does happen, that you are going to, you know, get the support that you need, or make sure that you get all the fluid that you possibly can take. Just my suggestion. These are not nice stories to hear, especially being in the competitive eating scene. Even if I'm not doing eating competitions, I'm totally surrounded by eating challenges. I have friends that do eating challenges and eating contests all the time. And, you know, I'm surrounded by this world, so I hear a lot of stories all the time. So it's not a nice story to hear, but nonetheless, my condolences to the families of the two individuals that passed away. It's not a good thing whatsoever. Like I said, if you ever do eating challenges or eating contests, please be careful. Please be careful. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys later. As always, my friends, you guys stay sexy and stay hungry.